Welcome back to the show. I'm here with my next guest, Ms. Tawnna Pounders, who is the department chair of the nursing program at Baton Rouge Community College. Ms. Pounders, so glad to have you on the show.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Well, I know that BRCC has an outstanding nursing program, and you are here to tell us about what you guys have for the public.
Well, I'd like to start off by telling you a little bit about the Associate of Science in Nursing program. And the Associate of Science in Nursing program leads to the graduates can take the NCLEX licensure examination. And once you take the NCLEX licensure exam, then you are eligible to be licensed as a registered nurse in the state. There are various pathways to becoming an RN. One is a bachelor's degree, one is an associate's degree, one is a diploma. And the associate is very streamlined, it's very economical. Baton Rouge Community College has a really good program. Once you graduate, we have a very high percentage of pass rate on the NCLEX exam, ranging right now right around 90%, and very high success rate for the graduates then to be employed and to further their careers going on from the associate level to the baccalaureate level.
And they can transfer? They
can transfer, yes. We encourage all of our students, once they graduate, to make sure and go ahead and get their bachelor's degree. Most of our students choose to go to an in-state college, usually Southeastern, ULL, Northwestern, and there are several. Our Lady of the Lake here in town has an online component, but those that I just mentioned have a totally online RN to baccalaureate program, so that the students, once you get out with your associate's degree, you already have your RN, you're already working, you're already making money.
That's outstanding.
Then you can go on and be really in your spare time working on that bachelor's degree, which then puts you in the position to really take your, have a spectacular career trajectory, so to speak.
Great.
It really is it's a huge plus to the registered nurse to go on and further their career.
And so the RN program at BRCC is 2 years long? Is it an associate degree?
Yes, it's an associate. The RN program is Associate of Science, and it is, as long as everything goes very smoothly, you get your scheduling in and all that sort of stuff, it is 5 semesters long. There's 1 semester of prerequisite work, and the 5 courses that you have to have in order to come into the Associate of Science program. You have to have English 101, college algebra, you have to have a general psych course, you have to have your choice of an art or humanity, and then you also have to have a developmental psych course. And once those are completed, and I also forgot to mention A&P, Anatomy and Physiology. Once those are completed, then you apply to the nursing program. And we look at 3 things for admission. And this is kind of one of the things where we're different from all of the other RN programs.
And the classes you mentioned, though, they're all offered at BRCC as well. So they'll take all of those, and then you can move on the track further down.
Yes. And there's 3 things we look at for admission into the RN ASN program. That's the GPA on those classes that I just mentioned.
Gotcha.
Not your overall GPA, but the GPA on those 5 classes. And the reason why we set it up that way is because we are a community college, and usually we have students that are coming in that have some things in their academic background that may not be stellar. You know, so this allows them, our potential students, to focus on those 5 classes, do really well in those, and then to have the ability to come into nursing, even if like 10 or 15 years ago they didn't do so hot in a particular class or something like that. So that's the first thing we look at. The next thing is we look at if they actually took those courses at BRCC. We give a little bit of a kick to those students because we know how well those courses are structured. And then the last thing is how well the applicant does on an admission test. And this admission test is a proprietary exam. It really just looks at reading, writing, and arithmetic. We
Mm-hmm.
give you a study guide, we give you website, it's an aptitude test, and if you review, you know, how to do some standard calculations and some grammatical rules and stuff, you'll do real well on that. So that's the only 3 things we look at, and that's unusual.
Is it like an ACT, the test you're talking about?
It's more like a compass. It's
Compass
not,
test?
yeah, it's more like the
But
compass
then,
test.
of course, if they have the, now if they have met the ACT scores in those areas, they don't have to take the compass test. Do they still have to take it for the RN?
Yeah, the ACT will cover you for the compass, but you still have
Gotcha.
to take that
Those other-
admission test.
gotcha,
You
gotcha.
still have to take the admission test. And part of the reason for that is because we do have students that are coming in so many different places in their
May have been out of
career.
school for a
Yeah,
while, and so,
yeah.
yeah, that makes perfect
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
But you know, the determined students has a very good chance of getting in. We do have generally 200 or 300 applicants for,
Mm-hmm.
we admit 60 once a year. But when you whittle that down and you have, you know, if you do well in all of those sections,
Sure.
it puts you in a very good stead to be admitted.
And what I've seen that happens too, of those 300 that are waiting to get in the RN, for some reason, if they can't meet the standards or whatever, a lot of them may go into patient care,
Right.
CNA program,
Right.
an LPN, so
Right.
or even EMT. So there are other
Right.
tracks they can
Right.
go.
Right.
If they, for some reason, are not meeting the standards of RN, there are still other medical tracks that
Right.
they can be successful in.
Correct. The ASN program is offered at the Fraser campus for
Okay.
BRCC.
And ASN, that's the
The
associate,
RN,
the
Associate
RN.
of Science in Nursing, that's RN. And the Licensed Practical program, we have 2 of those. One is offered at Acadian campus, one is offered at the Plaquemine campus. The Plaquemine campus program admits only every 2 years.
Gotcha.
And the Acadian campus admits every semester, though. So they're basically the same curriculum, but because obviously there's not as high a population in Plaquemine,
Right.
we don't admit quite as often there. And then we have the Certified Nursing Assistant program. And one of the cool things that we have with that is the Patient Care Tech program really consists of 3 components. It's the nursing assistant, phlebotomy, and the EKG tech. And we're
That's cool. It's all lumped in one,
Yeah,
so they
right,
get all 3 of those. That's
right.
pretty cool.
And
all 3 certifications.
And you don't get hired generally as a PCT. But what we give the students that are in the PCT program, they have 3 different certifications: as a CNA, as a certified phlebotomist, and as a
That's cool.
you know, certified EKG tech. So then they can
choose a track, right?
Yeah, they can
That's
choose a
nice.
track. Or you can take a single course and be a CNA, or a single course and be an EKG tech, or a single course and be a phlebotomist.